So can we please give a huge round of applause for Matt Homewood, who's going to come and tell us about Gullible Victorians. So Matt Homewood.
Hello everyone. Medicines and cures for Gullible Victorians. So I'm actually a genealogist by trade, and one of the wonderful new resources, not so new now, is the British Newspaper Archive. So if you've got ancestors, it doesn't matter who they are, they might have appeared in the paper, whether it's a dodgy court case or whether they're just announcing a marriage or something. But it's amazing what you can find. So for one particular client, I was just looking for his great-grandmother, Edith Moore, who lived in Lewes. And I found her in the paper, I found a mention of her. And here it is, Lewis's opportunity in the Sussex Express in 1912. I'm probably going to be in someone's way standing here, aren't I? But I have to read this. It says, the following frank, outspoken statement by a Lewes woman gives Lewis an opportunity of gaining information which will be beneficial here. And there you can see Mrs. E. Moore, Eastport Lane, south over Lewes, talking about her kidney problems. She said she began to suffer for 2 months ago with cutting pains, and you can see here that her kidneys are well out of order. So, she heard of Doan's backache kidney pills, and so she got some to try, and she said she was very pleased, and it seems to have done the trick. And you can see they're signed Edith Moore. Now, I don't think that she actually had kidney problems and she got these and think, oh, I'll write in to the company and say, oh, these were wonderful. I think probably what happened is that you've got representatives from Doan's kidney pills that would go door to door and talk to the housewives and say, look, we'll bung you a few shillings if you write in the local papers, just say you had some kidney problems and tried our pills and they were great. And as you can see, they get to just put a little advert at the bottom. And so I think that's probably what happened. But it got me looking at all sorts of different cures and medicines. And I sort of specifically concentrated in the late Victorian era, because in the 1880s, 1890s, that's when advertising came to its fore really in the local newspapers. So, this is from 1852, it's the chemists in Lewes High Street, and it shows all the amazing different pills you can get. There are hundreds of them there. I have highlighted a few. We've got Willie's pectoral candy there, Jeffson's tamarind wafers, Paul's Everyman's Friend. A few nods of recognition from some of the elderly people. We got Cupid's Horse Balls, Daffy's Elixir, Frampton's Pill of Health, and of course Dutch Drops. So these wonderful things, but what do they actually do? I mean, so, you know, just go in and buy some Hooper's pills. We don't really know what they're going to do for you. I'm not sure if they did at the time. These are the Herberts selling the sort of stuff. Now, if you went to a grocer's, you know what you're getting when you buy some apples or some carrots. But here, so Mr. Gorton here, probably wasn't sure himself half the stuff he was selling. He jogged some Hooper's pills, or what do they do for me? Well, they sort of do everything, as you'll see. So I'm pleased to say pharmacists, I don't know if there's any here, but pharmacists have cleaned their act up a bit in the last few years. They generally know what they're selling. So let's start with Dr. Williams' pink pills for pale people. Mind you ask for Dr. Williams pills, though, not just any pink pills for pale people. And you can see, praised by the Scotch, who knew a thing or two about being pasty. Now, this will cure anything. We got general muscular weakness, loss of appetite, yes, serious headaches, and all forms of female weakness and hysteria. Now here are Dr. Williams' pink pills for pale people, and by the miracle of modern technology. Oh, that was meant to go bright pink, but there you go. Now, this will cure fatal diseases. They did at one point claim to cure cholera, these pills, or the sellers of these pills at least. And again, it's Dr. Williams' pink pills, not any pink pills. So here's an example. This chap suffering from paralysis in its most hopeless form. Possibly hopeless as well. Doctor said he'd never walk again. And you can see here, diagnosed his complaint, suffering from locomotor ataxia, and not the faintest hope of recovery. So he went to Liverpool, to a hospital there, and the doctor told him he must never go out after dark. I think that wasn't related to his illness. It's just that he was visiting Liverpool, and the doctor was just saying that, don't go out after dark. Anyway, he then heard of Dr. William's pink pills when he left Liverpool, and he thought they gave him a try. And look, he's walking without a stick now, and actually going to work. So, yes, paralysis in its hopeless form, Dr. William's pink pills will sort you out. So what, again, it's a bit like Edith Moore we had earlier when she tried Doan's kidney pills. We've just got examples here of the people that were trying the pink pills. Child's life saved, his little, what was her name? Was it Grace or Alice? I can't remember her name. Anyway, Clara, that's the one, yes, Clara. She's been saved by Dr. William's pink pills for pale people. And look, here we've got a druid. It'll even help druids. And you can see here it says he's one of the oldest druids in the town. He's in his 67th year. So, yeah, it even cures the elderly. So fits were a common problem. This is from the 1890s Sporting Times. And you'll notice, it quite often says, you know, it will cure. And you'll get a free bottle, and you know you'll want some more. If it cures, you don't really need another bottle, do you? But this is what they keep saying: it will cure. This is the best thing. Ignore everything else. This is what you need, and this is what you've got with so many adverts. I mean, lion's ointment seems an absolute dream, really. Yeah, the very bad leg. Bad legs were very common in the Victorian era. Bad legs. So the doctor said I should have my leg amputated, and then someone said, look, have you tried lion's ointment, basically, lion ointment, and it worked. The doctors have no idea what they're doing. Sorry, we've got to amputate your leg, dear. Sorry, but have you thought of Burgess's lion ointment? Oh no, sorry, we didn't. We were going to take that off. So, yeah, good old lion ointment. Now, you know, women did have specific issues, and here you can see they've these Towels pills will remove all obstructions prevalent with the sex. Yes, so women got these particular pills themselves to remove these obstructions. It wasn't all bad, because you could get yourself an electric corset. 1892 harnesses electric corset. And it cures, well, your weak back, but also your hysteria as well. So it's very useful. And that's 5 and 6. That's equivalent to about 40 quid now. So you know they were pretty good. What else have we got here? Well, there were various things. Look, so we got Dr. Scott's electric hairbrush. You can have. If you haven't got much hair, you've got Dr. Scott's electric flesh brush. Doesn't really say too much about what it does, but you know, electric toothbrush. Right, this is 1883. Now, Lewes, the county town, didn't get the electric light bulb in its shops and its houses till 1900. So it's not like people had electricity at home; they flipped the switch. So electric toothbrushes and electric hairbrushes were, you know, quite some, you know, bit of magic basically. There's loads of other electric things they had, like even the electric spine belt, electric kneecaps, if you like, wherever you want a bit of electricity, you know, from your shoes to the top of your head, just, they'll sort you out, basically. Yes. Here is one of those beautiful pictures, one of Dr. Scott's electric hairbrushes. As you can see, it says it's there, it's unbreakable, so you drop that in your mangle, ladies, and it'll be fine. Not made of wires, no wires. This is pure bristles, and this is wooden. So I'm really not sure whether the electric comes into it. Now, don't forget your electric towel as well, because it's all very well having an electric corset and an electric toothbrush. If you haven't got your electric towel, you know, you are going to suffer. So remember these harnesses, electric corsets. Now, Mr. Harness got into a spot of bother in the courts, basically. This is 1893, and it was a big court case. And it says here that a harness electric corset was next produced. Witness had said it was not an electrical appliance. I think we probably gathered that, didn't we, anyway? It had a magnetic busk. And it says here that magnetism has been shown not to have any effect whatsoever on the human organism. And they'd done experiments on it, and they'd examined a hairbrush as well, marked electric, and concluded that it was magnetic, it wasn't electric. So they also produced another thing that Dr. Harness was trying to push, and it's an eye battery. And you can see in the court here, because it says brackets laughter, that's the the jury, or it's everyone basically in the court having a good old laugh. So what is an ingenious little instrument, it says here, by pressing a small button, the corrosive fluid was injected into the eye. I know what you're thinking, I've had an eye problem before, and you just want to inject some corrosive fluid in there to sort it out, don't you really? Anyway, and it was believed that you get an electric shock from it, and everyone laughs. And it says here, Harness himself was a common ignorant man who knew nothing about electricity or science, who could scarcely write a letter. So the trouble is, it all went wrong basically, and here we're still in 1893. The court case continues, and it was sort of finally finished because an expert came in and said that a mild current of electricity is not going to cure you anyway. It says you might wear a belt for 1,000 years without it making any effect on you. So he was in court, he was getting done because he was mis-selling something, saying it was electric when it was actually magnetic, but even if it was electric, it wouldn't do anything for you anyway. So he basically lost this case, hasn't he? But it didn't seem to stop people, because 6 years later, half a man, yes. Are you only half a man or a woman? And this man's suffering from brain fag, basically, it says here. So you can get an electric belt, just wear that to work, nice little electric current for the rest of the day, and that will sort you right out. Now, if you couldn't afford your own coat, you could just grow your hair really long. And, that's probably all right, isn't it? That's not going to be, inconvenient, all that hair, especially in the winter. Just wrap it around you. Nice. It wasn't just for women, though. If you're a man and you fancied a good moustache. So, as you can see on the left, the splendid silky and long moustache, it can be grown even at the age of 15. This cream will work on you. I don't know what look this guy's going for here. I've seen many an old photograph in my time, but I've never seen someone dressed like that. I used it written at the bottom. But yes, you can cultivate, as they put it, these moustaches from the age of 15. Obesity was a big problem in the 1890s. Ironically, it's from America, this anti-fat came from. And you can see what they've done. This acts on the food in the stomach, so it stops it turning into fat. And you can see they've proved it by the before and the after. So, that's it, exactly, it's proof. You've got to disprove it, haven't you? Yeah, that's the way it works. That's good enough for me, anyway. So there were loads and loads of adverts for Alan's anti-fat through the 1870s onwards. And you can see this inordinately thin woman with her friend trying to get down through a turnstile to a gig or something. And she can't even get out of her chair, so she should try Alan's anti-fat. The problem was, the next generation, you see, look, 1921 now, how to become plump, popular and attractive. So basically their parents spent their whole time trying to get thin, and now if you want to get laid, you've got to get plump. They didn't know where they were, really, did they? So a few honourable mentions. We got Holloway's pills, which were everywhere. They didn't really specify much, but bad legs, as you can see up there. Everything did bad legs, because everyone had bad legs in those days. There was Oriental toothpaste made in Manchester. And of course the nose machine, used for a few times an hour daily, shapes the member to perfection. I dare say, you know what I'm going to say, don't you? A few Victorian gentlemen, lonely, tried it elsewhere. I wonder what shape they've got. Right, now, back in the 1890s, it was big news. It was all over. Quite often when you saw an article, you'd see it from the, I don't know, the Wicklow Journal in Ireland, you know, down to the Shepton Mallet Gazette or something. There'd be the same article, so you just see it over and over again through the newspaper in the same week. And this is to a beauty factory, which is in America. I think it was in Chicago. I think certainly in Illinois. It's a visit to a beauty factory, and a journalist went there, and you got pug and Roman noses straightened, wrinkles removed, and dimples made. A bit earlier, this had been reported from over the pond. It said here from this particular hospital, there was just this one massive hospital, nearly one person in every 25 had protruding ears neatly pressed back against their head. Several had their heights increased from 3/4 of an inch to 2 inches. And one patient, an Indian, had become a lawyer, had his prominent cheeks reduced to the level of an average Caucasian. Anything they could do. So, on this visit in 1896, the doctor explained to the journalist that the nose straightening went with dimple making, just as hair cutting went with shaving. So, if you're going to get your nose done, you need your dimples done as well. But not only that, the business, it also included mouth insmalling. So you generally went for all three. Rather disturbingly, it goes on to say that anyone coming into the world blessed with an upturned nose or a large mouth was not, in this age of progress, excusable for it remaining in its deformed state. So he could reduce the mouth to a size of the merest rosebud, or straighten a retrousse nose to look severely classical. And here's an example, this incredibly unattractive man here, and he's made him beautiful. But it literally was. They said it doesn't matter what you want changing. It was plastic surgery to the extreme, and this is 120 years ago they're doing this. This has always perturbed me. Scrubs cloudy household ammonia. Try it in your bath. So not only does it, clean you and everything, it also removes stains and grease spots from clothing. As you can see here, it restores the colour to carpets, and it will also clean your jewellery as well. So you might as well get in the bath with the rugs and the jewellery and everything. You can imagine the conversation. Shall I run a bath for you, love? Yeah. Do you want some of that cloudy household ammonia in it? Yeah, please. And I always looked at this arm, and I don't know, initially I just thought, well, it's an arm coming out of the bath pointing, but it's got an elbow length sort of neck glove on, and if you notice, the finger's on the wrong side. The elbow joint and the finger are on the same side. It doesn't work. I don't know what it's trying to do, that arm. Bile beams for biliousness. Up in Grimsby. Oh dear. 1900 this is. And if we zoom in, you'll see, again, pale-faced girls, which are a massive problem, especially as the further you went north, the paler they got. It says here that pale faces are generally accompanied by poor appetites, dizziness, and a continual buzzing in the head. So I don't know if that still happens with pale girls. But you get your bile beams for biliousness, and that'll sort you out. Here's a lady, 1957, they're still eating bile beans. And it says here that this has brought back her cheerfulness, energy and vitality, which makes it sound a bit more like a Labrador than a Northerner. But she looks very happy in it, doesn't she? That's the main thing. Now I'm going to leave you with my favourite of all the cures, and that's ozone paper. So as you can say, it cures you if you have asthma, chronic bronchitis and bronchitic asthma, and probably asthmatic bronchitis as well. 1878 this is from. Now what this was a bit of card, just a bit like a Christmas card, you know, that sort of thing. And you fold it over and you put it on the table, and you set fire to it, and then you go to bed. You'll probably be okay in the morning. As you can see, the patient will fall into a sound and refreshing sleep. The outer air must be excluded by keeping the doors, windows and chimney closed. Don't, you know. And the paper may be burnt in the day as well if necessary. But of course, if for any reason you can't burn these things at home, say for instance your house has burnt down, then at least you can stand outside on the street and have your ozone cigarettes, which will cure. Thank you.